What's up, guys? Andy Drifter here, and welcome to my weekly segment of new editions. I'm going to start off with this 2020 Topps Archive autographed rookie card of Mariners center fielder Kyle Lewis. He was the 11th overall pick of the 2016 amateur draft. He made his debut in 2019, and in 2020, he was voted unanimously as AL Rookie of the Year. Keep in mind, 2020 was a shortened season due to COVID. But in that year, he posted an 801 OPS with 11 home runs and 28 RBI. Luis Robert of the White Sox, he finished runner-up that year in Rookie of the Year voting. Funny enough, both those guys and their careers have taken similar trajectories since 2020. They've both been plagued by injury, more so with Kyle Lewis. Over the past two seasons, he has played 54 games with 8 home runs, 16 RBI, and a 191 batting average. Had a promising start to his career. He definitely has the talent, but he's got to stay healthy. The Mariners, they made their first playoff appearance in, 20 years, 21 years. Ended the longest drought in professional sports in terms of making a postseason appearance, albeit they had an early exit. But they have a team that is loaded with talent, and they have hopes of Kyle Lewis joining that mix, but he's got to stay healthy. I'll hang on to this card. I don't know if I'll get it slabbed, but there it is. That's the first thing I got for you, an autographed rookie card of Kyle Lewis. Now, there are obvious issues with the future of Fernando Tatis, but let's talk about his career prior to the 80-game suspension. He made his debut with the Padres in 2019. I believe he hit 22 home runs that season and finished third in Rookie of the Year voting. The next two seasons, he finished in the top 5 in NL MVP voting. Despite missing 30 games in 2021, he still hit 42 home runs and drove in 97 RBI and finished that year with a 975 OPS. As far as this year goes, if you're a baseball fan, you know the story. He was set to come back in August. He was just about to start his rehab assignment in the minors. The Padres just acquired Juan Soto at the trade deadline. They were excited to have Tatis back, and that's when he tested positive for clostebol, which resulted in an 80-game suspension. So we won't see Tatis till next year. At the time his suspension was announced, the value of his cards plummeted. Will they return back to what they once were? I think there's a chance. As we've seen with A-Rod, which is probably the best example, there was a time where Alex Rodriguez was the most hated player in baseball, maybe the most hated athlete in the world. And within a blink of an eye, he turned things around, and now everybody loves him. I don't think anybody hates Tatis. Maybe the collectors who had valuable cards of him, they probably hate him. But all in all, among baseball fans and his teammates, I mean, they're irritated, to say the least. But I'd say hate's a strong word. Will his cards ever return back to what they once were in terms of value? He's going to have to put together 4 or 5 consecutive seasons of what he was doing prior to the suspension. Obviously, he has to have no more failed drug tests, be a good teammate. The Padres have to be a presence in the postseason. And from what I understand, everybody's coming back from last year's or this past season's roster. So they should be playoff contenders once again. Maybe get a few more top 5 MVP finishes. And his cards and their values should return back to what they were. He's got an uphill battle, but I'm rooting for him. I think Major League Baseball, they love this guy. I mean, he checked all the boxes. Young, charismatic, good-looking, bilingual, a monster with the bat, as well as on defense. Had Gold Glove potential, 40-40 potential. So it remains to be seen. Now, as far as this card here, this is a 2020 Topps Now blue border parallel. It is numbered out of 49. I'll bring it up closer for you. It is 43 out of 49, so I can't imagine that there are that many Gem Mint 10s of this card. I got it relatively cheap. I paid $40 for it. Going to hang on to it, see if he bounces back, and hopefully he does. I only paid $3 for this card, which was an absolute steal in my opinion. This is a 2008 Topps Triple Threads Relic Auto of first baseman Adrian Gonzalez. Played 15 years in the big leagues, started off with the Rangers, then played for the Padres, the Red Sox, the Dodgers, and 1 season with the Mets. He is a 5-time All-Star and a 4-time Gold Glove winner. His career stat line is as follows: 2,050 career hits, 317 home runs, a 287 batting average, 437 doubles, just over 1,200 RBI, and just under 1,000 runs scored. He did have 3 top 10 MVP finishes, and his first chance at Hall of Fame entry will be in 2024. Adrian Gonzalez you'd put him in the category of the Hall of Very Good. You know, as far as Cooperstown, you got to get to 2,500 hits and 400 home runs for the discussion to even start. He falls short in both those categories. No postseason. I mean, he made a few postseason appearances, but no World Series rings, no MVP trophies. He did lead the league in hits 1 season, and he also led the league in RBI. He was consistent throughout his career. Maybe he'll get 5% of the votes to stay on the ballot for 1 year, which is, I guess, a small reward. But good hitter, great teammate. This is an awesome looking card, so I'm happy to add it to my collection. Happy trails to the recently retired Kurt Suzuki. I've always wanted to add his signature to my collection, and now I got it. 16 years in the big leagues, 1,540 career games, 1,460 of those as a catcher. He had 2 stints with Oakland, 2 with the Nats, one of them resulting in a World Series ring. Also played for the Braves, the Twins, and finished off with the Angels. He did make 1 All-Star team in 2014. Not exactly an offensive powerhouse. He finished off with a 255 batting average, 143 home runs, and 730 RBI. He did have 1 season at the plate, which was somewhat impressive. That was in 2017 with the Braves, a 283 batting average with 19 home runs and 50 RBI. Seemed like a great guy, a great teammate. Had a lengthy career, mainly attributed to being a durable catcher. And so there it is. That is the 4th item that I have for you today. 2 weekends ago, I attended a baseball card show in Wilmington, Massachusetts. Several Red Sox alumni were doing autograph signings, and one of them was Eric Gagne. He was part of that 2007 World Series winning team. But Gagne will always be known for his time with the Dodgers. In a 3-year time span of 2002 to 2004, he racked up 152 saves, had a 1.79 ERA, and he absolutely terrorized hitters in the National League. One of my all-time favorite highlights was the showdown in 2004 between him and Barry Bonds. A year prior to that, they were doing an exhibition tour in Japan along with some other major leaguers. There was some friendly trash talking going on between the two. Bonds was like, "Hey, you ever going to pitch to me?" And Gagne was like, "Bet. Next time we face off, provided that it's an optimal situation for my team, we're going to do power versus power." And Bonds gave him the chance to throw 1 off-speed pitch. And in that particular matchup, Bonds got the best of him. He hit a home run. It is riveting TV. If you get the chance, watch it. If you are a baseball fan, you will truly appreciate it. Gagne had a 10-year career. He pitched for the Dodgers, the Rangers, and the Red Sox. 187 career saves, but like I mentioned before, 152 of them came in that 3-year time frame with the Dodgers. Of course, this story did not have a rosy ending. He was tied to PEDs, specifically notorious steroid dealer to baseball stars Kirk Radomski. There was a copy of a receipt where Radomski mailed steroids to Gagne at Dodger Stadium in Gagne's name, so he wasn't exactly discreet. I mean, it was a sign of the times. Back then, steroid usage was rampant, and Gagne clearly benefited from that. Prior to him using the steroids, he wasn't much of a factor for the Dodgers, and outside of those 3 years, he didn't really do much. But I was absolutely excited to meet him. He looks unrecognizable now without those trademark goggles. Told him how much I enjoyed watching him pitch and that he was an absolute beast. I mentioned the Bonds highlight. He chuckled. He said, yeah, that's one of my favorite highlights too. So there it is, a signed Allen and Ginter card by 2003 Cy Young winner and 3-time All-Star Eric Gagne. Some of the best memories of my childhood was watching those Oakland teams of the late 80s. Headlined by Jose Canseco, Mark McGwire, Dennis Eckersley, Ricky Henderson, Dave Stewart. But behind those superstars, there were a lot of blue-collar guys doing the grunt work, and one of them being Carney Lansford, who often batted in front of Canseco. Lansford started off his career with the Angels. He then went over to the Red Sox, where he did win a batting title, and then finished off with Oakland, where he made his one and only All-Star appearance. This here is another in-person auto. I got it at that same show where I got Gagne at. Lansford had a very peculiar batting stance, but he made it work. He had a career .290 batting average, had a little pop in his bat. He can get you 13, 15, 16 home runs a season. He had speed, 224 stolen bases over 15 years, just over 2,000 career hits, and just under 900 career RBI. He went on to become a hitting coach for the Giants in 2008 and 2009. I believe in 2008 they won the World Series. So he's got 2 rings, one as a player and one as a coach. So I'm happy to add this also to my collection. This is an autograph 8x10, and if you look on the lower left-hand corner, it is certified by JSA. Let's switch on over to football. You are looking at a 2021 Panini Select Jersey Relic auto of wide receiver Marquez Valdez-Scantling, a.k.a. MVS. This is his 5th year in the NFL, but the first one with the Chiefs. Prior to that, he was you could say the number 2 guy in Green Bay behind Devontae Adams. Adams also jumped ship. He went to Las Vegas. The Raiders and their season is pretty much done. They sit at 2-7. Rodgers and the Packers, you could say their season is on life support. They pulled off an overtime victory against the Cowboys on Sunday. But MVS and the Chiefs, they are doing just fine. They are 7-2. They sit atop the AFC. Like I mentioned before in one of my other videos, the wide receiver position in KC is loaded with talent. Mecole Hardman, MVS, Sky Moore, Kadarius Toney. They are in the Odell Beckham sweepstakes. In 2020, MVS caught for a career-high 690 yards. This year, he's already at 441, so he is well ahead of that pace. He caught his first touchdown on Sunday in that victory against Jacksonville. Just a side note, Jacksonville very easily could have won that game. They missed 2 field goals. There was a touchdown that was called back. But that game could have been much closer. But going back to MVS, he's a quality wide receiver. You could definitely say he's a top 20 wide receiver in the league. And who knows, if he keeps it up, he might make his first Pro Bowl appearance. And I'll finish off this video with the addition of some new comic books. Got Batman here. There's actually 3 in this package, as well as Captain America. There's several in this package as well. And I also added another Funko Pop to my collection. This is a Christmas-themed Boba Fett, number 558. Funko Pops, as you may or may not know, are quite collectible. Star Wars items are hugely popular among collectors. So that's what I have for you this time around. I want to thank you so much for taking the time out to watch my video. Be sure to hit like and subscribe. I'll be back in a few hours with another break, perhaps some football cards or wrestling cards. Thank you so much for watching, and enjoy the rest of your day.